Hey everyone, welcome to today's video. My name is Lucas, and today I'm gonna basically show you guys how to be comfortable when building a site from scratch in Framer. A lot of people, they see a blank project in Framer like this, they don't know how to start, or they kind of do know how to start, but they don't really feel comfortable building stuff from scratch, right? Because there's things like responsive design where it breaks in some sizes of the screen. There's padding and minimum width, maximum width. There's the different types of widths and heights and the layout of the different stacks. What should be a grid, what should not be a grid, so on and so forth. So basically, I found this website today called mooks.com, and they have a very it's a cool design, and there's a lot of like grids, right? So you see like these grids, you see these spacers between the different sections. I saw this particular section, I thought it was really cool how they have like these three cards and they separate them kind of like this. And the reason why I like this is because it's kind of, beginner friendly. This is kind of how a website would look like. We have different lines, and then here, these are like the lines that make the project, everything stay in the middle. These are like different spacers, right? So I thought that this was a cool project to get started with, and to see how to build with Framer, right? So we can choose a few sections here. I already have my Framer project open, and basically, just click here, open a new project. And what I'm going to do is I always like to bring in screenshots, so we can just do something like this, right? Screenshot something like this, bring it to Framer. And it's really cool. Framer is really cool because it's kind of like Figma, that you can just bring in screenshots. You don't even have to design in Figma. You can go straight into Framer. So we can do something like this. Go back, paste, and maybe another section. Let's see if we even get there today. But boom, let's just copy and paste, right? Back to Framer. So we have these different sections that we want to build. And we have this frame, right? The first rule, I say in all my videos, if you know me, it's just to create the different sizes. We just need 3 sizes, to be honest. We don't need more. I've seen a lot of projects where people build like 5 to 10 different screen sizes. No, it's not necessary. You just need 3, to be honest. So I have these 3 screenshots, and now what I want to do is I just want to start building everything. We have a nav bar. The nav bar is I would say the most, obviously all websites need a nav bar, but I wouldn't build a nav bar from scratch. To be honest, I would just use a component library. There are free ones out there and there are paid ones. Free one, you can just go here, for example, to Compa, click Compa, go to the blocks, let's just click this, nav bar, and this one is going to be for free. So, and it's quite similar to the design of this. You see how there's a logo on the left, then we have these things, and then we have the call to action, right? So the reason why I always like to use the navbar from a component library is because the navbars are always components, right? Everything else, it can be sections, and components are basically things that you use in different parts of the website, right? So you just click here and unlink and replace all, and they're going to look like this. You're going to have a drop down, and then you're going to have different sizes for each screen. So you have tablet and phone, and for the tablet and phone, you have a burger menu that's going to drop down. And that's going to be quite complicated to build from scratch. That's why I always say, it's best to just get it from a free component library, right? So in this particular website, we have these lines, right? These outlines. And let's design that in our navbar, right? Let's say that this is the navbar, and as you select this main one, you can see that there's the desktop, and then there's this one, and then this one is actually not it says it's fill, but it actually has a max width of 2800. So, and it has a padding, right? So that means that if it goes like this, it's gonna stay stuck at 2800 pixels. It's not gonna keep on going wider with the screen size. So that's that. So basically what we can do actually is, since there's like these lines, we can add lines to everything. So we can add lines to our to this part, to this container. We can add like these border lines. So we put border and we put right and left. So 1 and 2. Then you can start seeing that there's like these border lines. We can even add a little bit of a padding so it has even more space like this, right? And then we can decrease the padding on the top and left, on the top and bottom, so that it's like this, and just add the padding to this. So you'll see right now. So we have the border actually like this. These also have paddings. These are actually right on the edge. So I would go back to my navbar and remove the padding on the right so it sticks to this. And actually this one, we're gonna do something. We're gonna duplicate this. And we're gonna, go here and delete this. And this is gonna be its own little section outside of this container, but on the very right side. And it's gonna have its own border on the right. So it looks something like this. Well, it has to be fill height, not fit. There we go. So now we have like a border like we did in this other example. We can do it with the other button as well. We can just duplicate this button tab and delete this button one over here. And we can just replace it with a large secondary button, right? So there we have it. We have our buttons. We also want this to have a border at the bottom, right? So it would look kind of like this. But we don't want it here. We want it in the whole navbar. So we can just put 0 and then put here, where is it? Border bottom 0, 0, 0. And then we have it just like this, right? So that's looking pretty good. Let's see how wide this is. Like, this is a container and it's gonna be 48, 48. Okay, so we have to keep in mind that the space between here and here is 48 pixels. So we're gonna do the same here. So now, let's not put any more effort into this navbar. We kind of know that this is how, a navbar is usually built. Now let's just build this part, right? So we wanna add a frame that's pretty big, something like this. And we want to make this frame have a layout, so it's a stack. So now this frame has a stack, and it's not a frame anymore, and we can call this hero. And in this hero, we want to add a text. Like, we can just do the same one, build low latency live streaming. And we can increase the font, by a lot. And it's going on the sides. We don't want that to happen. We want it to be with fill. And we want this to be centered, right? So this is like the main stack. And then we want this to be in another one. So we want to, go like this. So now we got this stack. And we want to put a padding of 48 pixels on the right, 48 pixels on the left. And now, I believe, we'd first have to add the next text. This text, for example, we have to make this go down. But let's just go back to Chrome and copy this. We don't want to waste our time typing, but let's just decrease the size to about 24-ish or 18. And then we can make a button. And we can just copy, well, we can make a button of our own. Go like this, get started for free. And we can use like a cool, like mono font. Make it white, make it fit content, and then we can just right click, add stack, and then we can right click, fit content. Well, we gotta do that with the stack. Fit content, here we are. And then let's remove this, make it black background. Right, so now we have a little button. So what we want to do is we want to increase the font, the padding. So on the left, it's pretty big. I would say something like 48. On the right as well. And then on the top, maybe 20. And then we just gotta add that radius. Like this, perfect. Now let's put this in here. So we have a button. Let's increase the actual gap of everything, like this. And let's make the height of this fit the content. And what we gotta do is we gotta add a padding on the top and bottom. And the padding would be around 60 to 80 pixels, I would say. Same at the bottom. And then what we can do is that we can put these in a stack because we want to make this line, right? And we can't make the line here because it's gonna be, you know, we can't add a line or a border to a padding. So we would have to kind of go like this, add stack, and maybe make the height to fill. No. We would have this to make this to a specific fixed size. Let's say around 600 pixels. And make this height fill. And let's remove this top and bottom. So now we can add the lines on the left and right here to this one. So what we can do is we can add a border and 0 to the top, 0 to the bottom. And then to this one, this main one, we can add a border just at the bottom. So border, solid, just at the very bottom. So B, perfect. Now we got this nice little section. Let's just delete this color and make it, we can make it green, like here. Same with this, we can just make it this green color, like we have over there. We'd have to save the color. So let's do style green, create, and let's just make it green, right? So we got this here. We can even make this, you know, that other font, guys, mono, so it looks a little bit more like it. Still doesn't, but you know, we get the point. Decrease this a little bit. Yeah, maybe like this. All right, and now we have our next section, which will be this one. So we have, it's gonna be basically the same. So we can just, you know, duplicate the hero section. Oh, and you see how it's overflowing the canvas? That's the second rule. Basically, we have to make this fit the content, right? So right now, it's looking good. We gotta just delete this stack inside, or delete the content of the stack and make this stack, let's give the stack a fill, and let's give this hero section a fixed height of about 60 pixels or 80 pixels, right? And let's remove the fill of the stack. We don't even need this stack, to be honest, because we have the, or just add it. We would need it because we still need these lines, right? And then we have this section already, but we just need to change the color from green to, we're gonna make a new color, this gray, boom, gray. Perfect. Now what we want to do is let's just get this. This is going to be called spacer. And let's duplicate the spacer. Let's increase the size a little bit. So these are fixed heights. Usually I like to do it more of a, fit content and then add padding instead of fixed height. So that's just for you to know, because here it's height in the outermost stack, but I usually like to make it fit the content inside and then add a padding at the top and bottom. Something like this, right? Fit content and then, add the padding. Okay, so for here, we have 3 different intersections that we want to add, and they're basically going to be like frames like this. We're going to add a frame. We're going to make this a layout like this, a stack. And then inside of this, let's just copy and paste this text and make it smaller, like 36. And we're going to do the same thing for this one, copy paste. And we're going to make we're going to put it inside here. Boom. And we're going to make this not fix, but fill. And do the same here. Boom. Fix to fill. Boom. And they have like a little icon. So what we can do is these are like custom icons. So instead of adding the icon thing, we can add another frame, and you can make the icon in let's say Figma, for example. So we can add like an image, and you would basically upload it like that. And here you can see that it's left aligned everything. So let's left align everything, and let's make this stuff left aligned. And it has like a nice perfect padding on all sides. So let's make the height fit the content, and let's add a nice good old padding here, something like that, with a good radius, something like that. And let's make this even smaller. Yeah, you see, this is much better. Maybe even this can be smaller, and this stuff can have a gap of around 20 pixels, something like that. All right, now we got that. We want to duplicate it 3 times, and we want it to be on the sides like this. But you see, whoops, they are not fitting. So what we can do is instead of making it fixed width, we can make it fill. So now it's looking much better. Let's reduce the gap. Well, not this one, sorry. Let's reduce this gap to 0. And then we have, okay, so this is looking good. And we have this stack, right? And I can see that there's some space, but I want to remove this space. And we do that by saying fit content. Actually, no, that's not the right way. Let's see, why is there a space here? Fit content, there we go. And now each one should have a border, as they have here. So boom, that's how we do it. That's looking good. We can even decrease the padding overall everywhere to something like this. Might look nicer, but again, it's your choice. And then since we already built this spacer, we can just reuse it, right? So this would be cards, and this one would be called spacer, and we just duplicate it here, and boom. Now the next thing that we can do is this section. So already you can see that everything is going well. There's a few things that need to be fixed. For example, and this is a problem why I said in the beginning why it shouldn't be fixed height. Because in the mobile, it is gonna like turn out to be weird. Let's go here, let's go step by step and fix the responsiveness to everything. We can make this for the tablet and for the mobile as well, something similar. Go down. So that looks good. And then for the mobile, we can go here and maybe fit the content. Fit the content. Let's see if everything is good. And then this can fill. There we go. Something like this. And then this in the mobile would be smaller, obviously. Maybe we can do like 48. And then we can just reduce the size. This can be a fill. There we go. Starting to look better. I can also see that on the Navbar we have this thing going on here. Let's just delete this whole thing. We don't really need this. So this is like where you gotta just make sure that everything looks better somehow. We can go to that later. I would also make this white and not green. But let's just go on and build the next section, which is this one. And basically we can just choose one that's similar. So like this one, bring it at the very bottom, go to feature. Let's call it feature. And then we don't need 3, we need 2. So we can just build off of this. And we don't really need a background color or a border color. Although it does look cool if it's a kind of, something like this, but we don't need it. You can just delete it and just delete this radius. And we don't have an image here, an icon, so we can delete that as well. Right, so just going through everything. And now this one is gonna have more text, so I'm just gonna like copy, paste, paste, paste. So it's gonna look something like this, pretty big. Well, it won't. Let's make it actually much less. And here, it's gonna be an image and no text. There's not gonna be any background color or radius or border. We just need this image to be filled in the width and the height. No padding too, please. So filled, fill. Let's remove the padding of the stack to 0. And then we have our image. And our image is going to be something like this, right? I want it to be maybe 420 fixed. And it has like a nice relative size in comparison to the other side. So we can make this 50%, and then the image is going to be the other 50%, right? It's going to fill the rest. So it would look something like this, and we can just put like, easy to use, boom. Then we can just go back here to Chrome, and I guess we can, save this, save, go back to Framer, and upload it. So we can go like that, boom, save. There we go. Now, you see how this is relative? We want this not to be relative in the other screens, so just make sure that it's like that. Just go through each one and make sure that everything makes sense. For example, this image would not look so good, so we would have to kind of make the height fixed in a way, and like this, and maybe make this fit the content, something like that. And then at the end we can just add a spacer. So duplicate, boom, and we got our spacer. Perfect. So we brought 3 screenshots, and in about 20 minutes, we built these sections pretty quickly. So this was kind of, what I wanted to do today. I wanted to show you guys how to build certain sections from scratch, going to a special website that you like, bringing in the screenshots, and just building it right in Framer. I hope you guys kind of like saw how I built. It's very, I build using, just starting off with a frame, drawing it in, turning it into a layout over here, so it's a stack, and then there's either two options. It's going to go horizontal or vertical, and then build everything in between. I'm going to include this this particular remix link in the description below, so you can just have a double check and see everything, how I build everything. But basically that's it. I mean, it's very simple. These types of videos are very important for your framer or no code development career, because it's just extra practice, right? Just practice, 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 and you'll be good, and you can be able to build anything that comes your way, or almost anything. You'll always have to have that curiosity inside of you, because there's always going to be challenges, right? But this is a good challenge for you to just try to, practice on your own. All right. So I hope you guys have a wonderful day. Thank you for stopping by. If you liked it, please press like. If you didn't, please write it in the comments, and I'll be more than happy to read your feedback. All right. Thanks. Bye-bye.